And welcome to the Dave K Show. I'm David K. Gyro. It's so glad to have everybody out there in YouTube and Facebook and wherever you're watching. We have another great episode planned for tonight. And let me tell you what, every guest that we have seems to get better and better and better. And tonight's show is not going to disappoint you, I promise. As always, we're broadcasting off the beautiful banks of Falls River in beautiful Pointe Coupee Parish. And we're located in the historic Julian Porter's Arts and Museum Center. Beautiful old school out here. A lot of history behind here. A lot of beautiful architecture and everything. And we're so blessed to be able to have a home right here in Deros, Louisiana. And before we get started with our show today, we have the lovely Datha Bure with me, my co-host. I'm not going to tell you who we have just yet. Some of you people might know already, but I'm going to put a plug in for PointeCoupeeReporter.com. And they've been so nice to help us out promoting our platforms. PointeCoupeeReporter.com, it's a great source to find out news on the net about Pointe Coupee. And listing links to articles about Pointe Coupee from the area media is their specialty, but you'll find original articles there too. Dial them up on the web at www.PointeCoupeeReporter.com. And you will see this episode on their main page coming up soon later on tonight. So make sure you check that out and share, like, and do all that good stuff, everything. All right, without further ado, let's introduce our guest tonight, a very special guest, Sheriff, musician, songwriter, entrepreneur, business owner, Bud Torres. How you doing?
Good. We're doing great.
I'm so glad to have you. It's going to be a great show tonight. There's
fun.
so much stuff that we need to get into tonight, right? So
Yeah, and we're here. It's open season. You know, whatever we get into, Dave, I think this is a great little show. I've watched some of the other episodes, and
right.
you know, it's just open dialogue, and it's
Sure,
from the
appreciate
heart. You get a chance to talk to people and see them in a different light.
Absolutely, sure
Right.
do. And I like to kind of, we all see the especially public figures like yourself.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about Bud Torres. We like to kind of go under the covers a little bit and find out like what your past is.
Yeah.
Maybe we can talk about some stories that nobody knows about today. We'll find out what we cover. So, but one thing I want to do. Your music career is doing really, really well now, and of course that's. That's pretty much known. A lot of people know that you're kind of exploring that avenue right now.
Well, it's a hobby work, and make no bones about it. The music business is one of the toughest things I've ever seen. It's very competitive. A lot of great, talented people out there, and we're just dabbling in mostly writing music, and
Right.
I find great comfort in creating those little songs. You're a storyteller, but in 3 minutes or less. So,
Right.
Right, exactly.
So you have to, it's a formula. We're working on it and trying to develop the craft, but we're
Sure.
doing a few little things and really trying to keep it focused just for the songwriting.
Sure. Now, as far as your songwriting goes, so what gives you inspiration to write your songs? Kind of a setup question, but.
Well, it is. I think that songwriting is about life. It's about relationships and people and things that, impulses. I know writing some of the songs, that we get into them, I might run into someone and they'll tell me something and it just sticks. And the way they said it, the emotion behind it, and that's really what motivates me to writing a good song. I don't think I really spell them out. Sometimes it starts with a little groove in the guitar, a little tune,
Right.
or you get something in your mind, a little tick in your head, and you just kind of run with that. So
Sure.
there's no real set way of doing it. I can't really put my finger on what works for me, but we've been successful a little bit, and
Sure.
we've got a lot of attention as far as the writing piece. And what I would like to be in a position is to have my life here and do what I do every day and enjoy that. And just write music and
Sure.
go into the studio and on occasion and put something down in a demo and ship it off to somebody and they pick it up.
Right.
That's cool.
it
I like
is.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the fun part. So it's like what
Right.
came first, the chicken or the egg? It's like a lot of people ask, did you get the tune or the melody first, or did you get the lyrics first?
It happens different ways. Someone can tell me something. One of the songs I have my granddaughter in it, and not in particular, but she was just so happy one day sitting out in the yard, and she was singing a little tune and nothing really no real known song. She was just making up her own thing. And it just caught me, and I started thinking about my dad and time and how life is just in general, and I wrote this little song about it. And it's been, in fact, we were coming up here, and it was playing on 100.7 The Tiger.
Wow, come
yeah,
on.
they play.
Oh,
they
that's
have a little
cool.
show. They have a little show. They play local artists from 5 to 6 on Sunday afternoon, and they played my song. And
Awesome.
so,
How does it go? You want to play a little bar for us? I'd love to hear it. How would you think? Yeah, come on now. Yeah.
Let's do this.
This little song's called "Time in the Bottle."
Yeah.
When a young man dreams about the future, and the old man romances the past, both sitting on the front porch, wondering how long it's gonna last. You can't put time in a bottle. Don't let your life pass you by. Live every day like you're dying till you say goodbye, bye, 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 bye.
Good stuff there.
I like it.
Yeah, that's good
I
stuff.
like that. Good
Neat little
groove.
song.
Yeah.
And well, I started watching my granddaughter playing in the yard, and she was singing so happily. And I wrote the second verses about her, kind of about her, and then the first verse was just reflection of, I can remember sitting on the front porch with my dad, and I was the dreamer, and he was telling me about life and everything else, and we'd be listening to Hank Williams songs. I mean,
Right.
we loved Hank Williams, and it was really the foundation, or I guess the foundation for my thought process of writing. I think that Hank Williams Sr. was probably the greatest songwriter, original artist that ever lived, and his little tunes were so catchy and connected with life, So
Right.
Yeah.
we were really, I was really influenced by that.
Right.
Kind of the foundation of the bass.
Right. I
Cool.
mean, yeah,
Let
that's
Let me
right.
like
play
that.
that little second verse, just get him. Well, a young girl's. Let me start over. Well, a young girl sings a sweet song about the day she's gonna get married. She's gonna meet a Prince Charming, and they'll live happily ever after. You can't put time in a bottle. Don't let your life pass you by. Live every day like you're dying till you say goodbye. Bye, 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 bye.
I like
That's
it.
amazing. That's amazing. I always said, you think about it, if your house catches on fire, and you're going to go back in for the things that are most important for you, right? So it's like the question is, what's most important in my house? So for me, you said put time in the bottle, the things in life that really matter. I'm going for my videotapes. I'm going for my pictures. I'm going for the nostalgia. The memories is the most important thing to me. And those kind of songs right there, they seal it up.
I'll go for my kids first. All the other stuff is in a safe.
Right, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
No,
safe,
we
yeah.
all have a strategic escape plan.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I got so much stuff.
I know.
It would just be a disaster. for
Some
me.
stuff you just have
Right.
to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Right.
You can
Especially-
always bring it back. Maybe.
Yeah, I think with your life, it's good to reflect on where you've been and how you got to where you are.
Right.
And never forget who you are and where you come from. But I think you should always try and look ahead. Tomorrow, today, all you have is really today.
Right.
Yes, you do.
Tomorrow's not promised, and yesterday's
do.
gone.
So today is
you
a
try-
present.
Yes,
Right
It's
it
a
is.
gift, baby.
That's all you
It
have.
really
right
is.
here.
That's
Can
right.
find
Right
it.
here
It
now.
is.
Right.
That's right. And the thing is, I was telling this to somebody we had on the show earlier. It's like, we're all getting older and older, and as we get older, we get more.
Older and older and older.
Exactly.
His harsh words,
hang
Dave.
on. But with that, that becomes wisdom, and it becomes like life experiences that make you more wise, and you're keen to life in general, and you can write these kind of stories
Yeah,
that you
and
couldn't write when you were 20 years old.
Correct, because you didn't live
So-
it, and you didn't understand the value of it. I think,
Yes.
and as I find myself getting older, writing the songs, and having a song that just sticks, that people can resonate with and connect with is really a what I would like to see would be my accomplishment in this songwriting stuff.
Yes.
Oh,
right.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
And the key to it is keep it simple. The simple little songs, the simple chords, the simple little
Catchy. Stuff
catchy.
that make people tap their fingers. Oh, yeah. I remember that song.
Yeah,
I got
exactly,
that.
exactly. So let's talk about on the technical side of your songwriting and everything, and your albums. You've been working a lot with Nelson Blanchard.
Nelson is the rock. He is probably one of the most talented people I've ever had the opportunity to work with, and he is just a prince of a guy, very solid individual, and musically just phenomenal.
Yes.
I'll come in there and put something down that I wrote, and he'll look at it and critique it. And for the most part, I've been batting 1,000. We didn't have to really stop and change what we were doing.
Right.
But he really takes it to a whole new level, puts some disciplines in it, and we've done really well together as far as producing something that I thought was the best work I could possibly do.
Yes, that's great.
Cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Nelson
that
is,
was fun,
and he's right here in Baton Rouge, right?
Right here in Baton Rouge, Techno Sound, his little company.
Yeah, put a plug in.
That's his studio that he runs, and then he's also the keyboard player for Louisiana LaRue.
Oh, cool.
They were
Yeah,
just
right.
playing in Homa, I think, the other night, and he's just a talented guy.
Yes.
He does a lot. He's more in the rock scene. Personally, really likes that
Right.
genre.
Right.
And he's writing with some people out of New York, and has won several awards for some of the blogs. And like we were talking earlier, this is going to take over the way people do business. It's experimental, but this is like Kitty Hawk in the 1900s when they were trying to learn how to fly.
Right.
And I think podcasts and all of this is going to be so,
It's the next light bulb.
I
It
think
is.
so. It's
I
the next
agree.
light bulb.
It's going to take over
It's true.
Facebook.
It really
It's
is.
gonna
Poor
take over everything.
Facebook.
Right. And
Yeah,
so
because you can interact with people. You don't even need radios anymore if you think about it, because it's all
interactive.
it's
right.
all interactive. You get facial, you get to see what that person actually looks like. You can relate to them. I mean,
Well,
that's
and
pretty cool.
You get the exchange, like when you're talking to someone about the singer-songwriters, we don't necessarily want to hear what the guy is saying. It doesn't have to be perfect. We want to feel what he's saying.
Right.
And when you talk about it's emotional, and my music follows a certain, it's a country genre, and it's the great storytellers,
Yes.
Don Williams, Hank Williams Sr., all those guys who went before that really were storytellers and could bring you in and take you for a 3-minute ride.
Yes, that's it.
And
That's it. So as I hear all your songs, how many albums do you have out now?
We're on. Let's see. I think I have 5 out there that are on iTunes or whatever.
Okay.
I'm on number 6. It's going to be a stripped back album, acoustic. Trying to dig a little deeper into what's real as far as not producing it. And we did a little cut on one of the songs that I'm going to play for you, one of my new ones. And it's interesting because we have a Dobo, which is the old metal resonator.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Guitar, and an acoustic guitar, and my voice, and that's it. No backup, no nothing. It's as raw as it gets. I've listened to it 1,000,000 times and like it kind of, I don't know, but
Right.
You're
Somebody
always,
does.
you're always your own worst critic, though.
yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
When you're
Right.
trying to listen
Right.
to yourself.
But somebody
Yeah, it's
likes
hard.
it.
It's hard to impress yourself. You're
Well,
good. You just
it's
don't.
decent, And,
I'm like
and
that.
I'm able to accurately portray the music that I write. If someone really up there.
Right.
And I mean, it's so interesting that the guys that are on the top are just a small number of people compared to what's out there.
Right.
And going to some of these songwriter gigs and stuff that I play every now and again, it's interesting to see how many talented people out there.
Right.
Have you ever watched that show? I Can Only Imagine. It's a movie.
Yeah, I did.
That's
Yeah.
it's inspirational because the guy starts off simple
Yes.
and got so big, and it's
Right.
This song was really
it's touching.
connected with people.
Right. Remember how he said, I wrote that song in like 2 minutes. He said, no, you wrote the song over a
Your
lifetime.
whole life. Yep.
Yep.
So stuff
I
like
think that's
that.
a good analogy.
Mhm.
It's all there. You just put it, you condense it down
Into
to
s-
2-minute space of your
Exactly.
life.
Right.
Exactly. And, the artistic version is, we were talking about it a while back, everybody I think is an artist at nature, no matter what you do for a career. You could work at the Dow Chemical plant. Your job is an art. You know, the way you do things. Music is an art.
There's
Film
a
is
very
an art.
human side to everything, and I think when you really dig down, the music, painting, and those things are emotional. Right?
Yeah, expressive,
Right.
creative type things.
Right.
And
Right.
I think that everybody, cooking's an art.
Yes.
A lot of
It
people
is.
have their little niche or things that make them happy,
Mhm.
and it's that finesse or looking at the finer details of things and finding out what's really important. I always tell people, especially guys that work, that work for me and stuff, I said, when you look at a professional football team, there's not much difference between a professional football team and a Super Bowl team. But that 10% difference is everything.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
And I
True.
think that's true in life. If you do something, try to do it the best you can do it.
Right.
Try to be that Super Bowl team.
That's some good words there. Good words. All right, I want to. That was our opening, right? That's the Bud Torres who is today. Our opening. I want to go back in time and
Okay.
take us back to however long we need to go back to. I want to know what got you first interested in the law enforcement career.
I always had a interest in it because my father was a game warden, my grandfather was a game warden. We were in law enforcement, so to speak, that the people come into the house, my dad talking about his job, and all of that stuff was organic to what I grew up around. So I felt a calling, not so much a job, but what I felt I wanted to do for the rest of my life was law enforcement. And, at a very young age, I'd say really 14, 15, 16 years old, that's what I wanted to do. And that's kind of the path I chose.
Right. And how did you? What was your first job in law enforcement?
Well, I was under 21 years old before state police. I was trying to get on with them.
Wow.
And they wouldn't hire me because I was young.
Right.
And,
Wow.
and they said, if you get a job in law enforcement, come back and see us. So, and I was too stupid to quit and do something else. So I went and got on, bugged my dad. Hey, you think you can get me on with wildlife? So I wound
Shout
up in
out.
yeah,
Right. There you
wildlife
go.
and
I
That's
fisheries.
for
know.
Datha. Yeah.
So I
That's it.
wound up in wildlife and fisheries, and then from there, I went to state police. Said, hey, I did what you told me. So
Mhm.
I wasn't giving up, and I guess they felt the only way to get rid of me was to hire me. And that's what they
Right.
did. And I stayed there until I retired.
Well, for back then, were the qualifications to get in state police kind of like now? You have to have a college degree. You have to have a certain amount of experience.
Not then. It was a high school graduate, and 18 years old, and a valid driver's license, and passed all
Wow.
the tests and
Yeah.
requirements.
Whew, they got
the
really
physical stuff.
strict.
Yeah,
did.
it was pretty tough to get in. It was tough to make the academy.
Mhm.
Back when I came on, there was a lot of people looking for those jobs. So we had a whole host of people applied for them. So the margin to get in was pretty
Right.
tight. So I was just fortunate, and was persistent and went after it and
Right.
stuck to it and made it through.
Absolutely. And so take us from the time, of course, you're a new hire with the state police. You're probably on the road, right?
Yeah, after graduation, I went to Opelousas at Troop K, which Pointe Coupee
yeah.
at the time was a part of Troop K.
Right.
It's been dissolved or done away with in today's set. They cut back 2 troops and actually, reduced the numbers, so to speak. And I started out in Opelousas and stayed there while I was in training. You actually rode with a coach almost a year until you figured out which way was up. And then
Right.
after
Almost a
that-
year.
Yeah, almost
Wow.
a year. About 9 months is
Yeah.
what they used to ride you with someone else.
Wow.
And then after that, they cut you loose, and they sent me out here to Pointe Coupee. So I started out as a trooper, I guess in 80-ish, 81, working out here in
Wow.
patrol. So
Yeah.
worked with the sheriff's deputies, and back in those days, there was only 2 or 3 deputies working the whole parish,
Right.
and 1 state trooper, because they always had a parish man. They had 1 trooper in each parish back in
Interesting.
those days. So you had a trooper and 3 deputies, and we
Wow.
worked everything from domestic calls and everything. And I really
Yeah.
fell in love with the sheriff's office line of work, handling all the calls when people were in need and had to talk to the police. And would
Right.
ride out there with them, and we'd back each other up. If I had a wreck, they would back me up, and
Sure.
vice versa. So
Right.
it worked.
Who was it? Who was a
Cool.
sheriff back then in the 80s?
It was Preston
Preston
Hughes. When Mr. F.A. had just retired, and and Preston had came on board, and I'd say, yeah, around that time.
Okay, great, Datha.
Huh?
Yeah, did you say something?
Oh no, I'm just
Okay.
listening. Taking.
Okay.
I didn't know you worked for state police.
Yeah,
I was over there too. I started at motor vehicles at headquarters,
Oh, I know.
and then I went to wildlife and fisheries.
Okay.
I've been
There
a
you
state
go.
girl since I was 21.
Yes,
There you go.
indeed.
Yep.
Wow. Yep. And so that's probably where you're going to retire too, right?
Heck yeah, I only got like 14 years left.
Right.
I'm in it now. I'm in it to win it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're there. You're
That's
there.
awesome. That is great. So I remember hearing some stories about some things that you did while you were in the state police. You were on the road for a while, of course. Did you move up into any kind of a supervisor position?
Well, I went to undercover narcotics.
I love
because-
undercover.
there
I
you
used to
go.
do that too.
There you go, Datha.
Yeah,
How
I
on your own
went.
with
I
people.
went there after about 2 or 3 years on the road. That was kind of in the Barry Seal, American Made, the
Oh,
movie
yeah.
that came out.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
We were out there working a lot of that, a lot of smuggling and different things along the
Was
coast.
was the movie accurate? Did you see the movie?
Yeah, it was a Hollywood thing. They had
Right.
to make it entertaining, and I actually met Barry Seal and was working when he was killed in Baton Rouge. I was
Right.
right there on Florida Boulevard, Salvation Army.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
yeah, that era was where and because I was a wildlife agent and a boat operator, state police were interested in me. So I had picked up a skill set that
Right.
they wanted. So
Right.
they were doing all this stuff, and that kind of was the segue for me to get into state police. So
Right. Did position to you, or did you hear about it and apply for it?
no, I just kept grinding, trying to get in there, and then once I was on the road and everything else, they were always recruiting, and the narcotics thing was really coming up. The oil field was crashing in the early 80s, and people were desperate, trying to figure out how to make a living, and they were turning to smuggling drugs
Right.
and
That's
everything
right.
else.
True,
So
yeah.
crime was going up, and we were trying to address all those issues. And the movie about Barry Seal, that was a real
Right.
deal.
I think Barry Seal got kind of a bad deal, don't you think? I mean,
I don't know all the
Um,
intricate things that occurred. I know that movies are going to be semi-accurate,
right.
but I think that you have to glamorize something to make it interesting or entertaining.
True.
Right.
But at the same time, our lives aren't that glamorous sometimes.
True, right. Everyday people, you're right.
That's right.
That's
So there
awesome.
was some nuts and bolts, brick and mortar things that happened to him that were just real,
Right.
and sometimes, good people go bad and they make poor decisions, and they get caught in a lifestyle or whatever, and they wind up trying to supplement that, and
Right.
they'll take chances. And
Sure. Definitely.
sometimes it doesn't work out, and sometimes it does.
Right.
That is true. So, going through the narcotics thing and everything. So, so how did your career end with the state police? So, what position were you in?
Well, I wound up in narcotics, and in about 1987, they transferred me to work with the FBI in New Orleans.
Oh, okay.
There was a big case that we were
Wow.
working with illegal gambling and
Right.
everything else.
Oh,
and
that sounds
Yeah.
so fun.
That's Datha's
it
alley
was-
here.
It was a lot, and so we had. I was working there, and I spent 10 years assigned to the FBI in the New Orleans office, and that was a straight up gig for a while. And
Yeah.
from that, I kind of, all of my peers were moving up. I'd been in this undercover role, and I couldn't leave. You couldn't break someone else
Right.
into it, and this case we'd been working on a case almost 10 years.
Wow.
And when we finally took it all down, that was in about 96, 95, and then I stayed there till 1997. Then came back to Baton Rouge and was working back in narcotics, and I had been promoted to sergeant. And then I had a 15-man crew, and I worked the Baton Rouge office for
Wow.
a while, and
Wow.
did a stint with statewide stuff during the smuggling, and we were we were working that along the coast again.
Mhm.
So it was a great career. I enjoyed every minute of it. Met
Right.
a really great group of guys that were dedicated, and a lot of them are sheriffs now. They retired and run for sheriff. Some of them are actively campaigning to seek the office of sheriff.
Right.
And some of them are still in the ranks of state police. But
right.
you know, it's just it was a good ride, and I retired there. I want to say a week before Hurricane Katrina.
Ooh,
Wow.
good time to get out.
2005.
Yeah, didn't even realize it.
Wow.
In fact, it's kind of complicated how you leave. You go to retirement. They tell you what your options are and all that stuff. And we sat down and worked through all of that. And I remember it was my birthday in 2005, and I had my 25 years with state police. And I told them, I said, I'm going to retirement today just to see what my options are. So I went over there, and they put it in the computer, and she said, okay, August 25th, 2005, that'll be the day you exit, and you'll be on leave until December or something. And I said, well, that sounds good. Let's go ahead and sign it up. So I signed the paperwork and everything else, and I said, I just hope there's not a bad hurricane going, where I can get out of here.
Wow.
And I think the 28th, 3 days later,
Jeez.
it changed the course of Louisiana history.
Yes, it did.
With Katrina.
Yes, it did.
So that was
So, were you,
ironic.
So the way I understand it, you're just kind of like in like semi mode. You're not quite there yet, but it's like the waiting period.
Right.
And did they call you back for Katrina to
No, I
help
didn't
out?
go back for Katrina because
Okay.
I was on leave, and they called me the day after the storm hit and said, hey, we need you back. And I told my wife it was kind of interesting to see what her response was, because I lived out of a suitcase for a while. I was traveling a lot, and I've been all over the country with state police narcotics, and to hear her go through all this roller coaster, I said, look, they need me.
Wow.
I've got to go back. And then they said, okay, we're going to start back Monday. So I actually drove to Baton Rouge, and then I got there, and they said, hey, we talked to the lawyers. You're in limbo land because you're on leave and you can't come back. If you were retired, you could come back. So if we
okay.
need you after December, we'll call you. But they had it straight by then.
Sure.
So I missed
Wow.
it. I set that one out. So
Wow.
Yeah, I hear horror stories from wildlife and fishery agents about it.
tough.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
Wow.
Yeah.
kind of trained for the
Especially-
scenario our whole careers, and
Right.
Right.
And then it
before,
finally happens, and
and I was
Exactly.
in timeout. So.
Wow. Well, on the Acadian and Hamlet side, I was able to kind of bypass that too because everybody in New Roads volunteered to go help out for Katrina, so I stayed behind, and they worked me like 2 or 3 72-hour shifts, a 48-hour shift, and we just camped out at the station for like
Everybody
3 days at a
you know,
time.
really felt it, whether you were directly involved or indirectly involved.
I know when we
Yes.
were at motor vehicles, the traffic from helicopters alone. I mean, we had governor there. We had probably federal people. I don't even know. Maybe the president
They had
might have
people
dropped
from
out.
all over the world were there.
It was crazy.
Every state police agency in the country was there.
President's
Wow.
wife, governor's wife came out. Bobby Jindal's wife came out to Baker because I was working at Channel 2 at the time, and I remember seeing her out there. But yeah, it was it's something But out of disasters, good things are always born.
That's right.
Yes,
That's right. Lessons
I
are learned
think we're
too.
Yes,
stronger.
we are.
I think it showed the resilience of Louisiana and the people here.
Right.
I think it was just a tragic time in our history, but like
Yep.
you said, we're back.
Yep.
We're still here.
Same with the last flood we had. We come back strong, baby.
Yes,
still here.
yes, we
Got
did.
to.
Yes,
What
indeed.
choice do you have? It's either live and learn, or
That's exactly
you
right.
can't give up.
That's exactly
You
right.
can't leave Louisiana.
That's right.
There, at least we don't have blizzards and earthquakes. It could be worse.
True, true, true.
Could be worse.
I feel a song coming on about honoring our law enforcement people. You got anything for that?
I don't know. Let's see. This one's kind of an all-encapsulating song. Let me look behind the curtain.
Go ahead, do what you got to do.
Hey, you ready to go, buddy? We're going to do Louisiana State of Mind. Oh, yeah, let's do
Come on, Tim. Go ahead.
I got some help here.
Okay. Get kind of close to Bud, right, Tim? Tim, with your guitar.
There you go.
Hey, we can do whatever we want to do. It's a Dave K show
Right. This is a
with Datha Bure.
this was a song I wrote. I was working with a producer out in New Jersey, and he called me up, and we did 3 songs up in Nashville, and it was interesting to. Guy was kind of interesting dude. A real nice guy, but he said, "Man, I like your music, but it's so cliche. All you sing about is Louisiana." Da, 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 da.
Yeah, we love
And I was-
Louisiana.
Well, what are you supposed to know? That's like the most
And-
popular thing ever.
And he
Yes.
keeps on going and going and everything else. I said, well, I got a song for you. I'm gonna send it to you and see if you like it. Anyway, I hadn't wrote the song,
Yeah.
So, but he took me to another place, and this song here has been really good to me. In fact, last year I played it for opening Bayou Country Superfest
Awesome.
in the Superdome.
Oh, awesome.
And,
Yes.
yeah,
How many
got
people
a-
were in attendance? How many people were out there in the audience? About.
I want to say 30, 40,000
Wow.
at the
Wow.
time.
Yes, a lot of energy there.
And it's the biggest audience I ever played for.
Yes.
So it was kind of a little small deal, and Nelson and I went down to play it. I needed some backup. So we got in there and we played it, and the people really responded to it. But
Awesome.
the irony of it is, I guess I wrote that song for that moment, but some young fellas that I know are really, and some gyro boys from the island over there, they really like the song too.
Yes, they do. They love it.
So I guess it's part of what a song should do. It takes you somewhere else. But
Yes.
this is for all of us in Louisiana, and that producer took me to another level, and I really wanted to hit him in the head with Louisiana. So
Right.
this little song is called "Louisiana State of Mind." We're gonna- Sweet magnolia trees, cool heat of a summer breeze, precious smile of a baby girl. Mississippi's on the rise, springtime in a Chapalaya. Life is good in the bayou country. Well, I still drive an old pickup truck, and I drink my whiskey from a Dixie cup. People say I'm crazy, but I'm just fine, 'cause I'm living here in a Louisiana state of mind.
Yeah, good job.
It gets hot in June,
Yeah.
August you can hardly move. Summertime in Louisiana, fish are running on the coast in the Gulf of Mexico. Gotta go down there and have some fun. Well, I still drive an old pickup truck, drink my whiskey from a Dixie cup. People say I'm crazy, but I'm just fine, 'cause I'm living here in a Louisiana state of mind. Fall comes a harvest moon, hunting season will be coming soon.
Yeah.
Tigers play up in Baton Rouge.
Yeah. Can't wait for that.
Good times and good friends, we hate when the winter ends, but we get to do it all over again. Well, I still drive an old pickup truck, drink my whiskey from a Dixie cup. People say I'm crazy, but I'm just fine, 'cause I'm living here in a Louisiana state of, still driving old pickup truck, and I drink my whiskey from a Dixie cup. People say I'm crazy, but I'm just fine, 'cause I'm living here in a Louisiana state of mind. Louisiana state of mind.
Yay!
Yeah, awesome.
Very good.
Good job.
Awesome sauce.
That's awesome.
Loved
yeah.
it.
No place like Louisiana. Love it.
Yep.
Well, he never called me back.
Aw.
After
Come
I
on,
did
wow.
that little song, and
Oh,
but it really
Wow.
got some traction here, and
yes.
people liked it. I mean, to
That's
open
awesome.
for George Strait and Chris Stapleton at Bayou Country Superfest was
Yes.
really
Wow.
a big thing for a little guy from Maringouin, Louisiana.
Right, absolutely.
I thought it was huge.
So what about the next Superfest?
They didn't call me.
Well,
Okay.
they should.
I know.
Well,
They should.
They should.
Well,
Yes.
Well, the little song is doing good, and it's in a bunch of different places. I've been trying to get it hooked into LSU baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Out there.
Right.
So
Right.
I got some people I got people working on it.
Yes.
But
Right.
you never know.
How can
Never
people
know.
get your music if they want to get your music? The
Easiest way
right
is just
legal way.
digital. Yeah, you can get it digitally. I'm on YouTube. It got a lot of videos and stuff like that. Or if you want to download some stuff, we're on iTunes. You can go to CD Baby if you have,
Okay.
you don't have an iPhone, and Walmart, Barnes and Noble, all
Sure.
the Amazon.
Right.
I'm on all the different digital venues.
Right.
So
Cool.
people
Yep.
can go there, and I think I have 40 or 50. That's up.
That's great. We always
Oh, man.
encourage people to do things the legal and right way because support our artists. You can
Right.
go watch videos on YouTube unless you're monetized. That's good. But buy the stuff. Buy it.
Right.
Buy it.
Right.
Well, appreciate that. That's
Yes.
good. Yeah.
Exactly. Definitely. Well, that's great. So, so you went in and retired from the state police, and obviously you just couldn't sit still for long, right?
Yeah, I
It's
went
like
out,
me.
Right, I know.
was building some camps and doing a little construction work is what all of my family does. And, I was carpenter by trade. When I was in high school, I worked for my cousins, and they always, told me, hey, look, you can make a living doing this if you learn how to do it the right way. And
Right.
they taught me a lot. And, I
Right.
still can do things at my house. It's really nice when you can change a door, or
Sure.
you can change some molding, or do something for yourself,
I might need a door changed.
There you go.
No, you just did your
I can't-
floors.
I just did my floors.
Yeah, by
you
yourself.
see?
Did.
You see?
All by
yourself, there you
myself.
go.
Took a whole
Yes.
weekend.
Beautiful
it's-
scored
it's-
floors.
It's something that, I've always been around, and did that kind of when I retired and started, and just, was looking around and looking at the different things, and listened to some of my friends and family, and, went ahead and ran for sheriff, and was fortunate, blessed, that people responded to the message that we
Yes.
had, and
Right.
actually, voted for me and elected me. And, that's been one hell of a ride.
I bet it
I know
has.
we've been,
Right. Wow.
we're in the third term. 12
Congratulations.
12 years here, and
Doing something right.
well,
Right.
I'm surrounded by really good people that are as passionate about serving the public as I am. We
Hmm.
don't do it always the right way or exactly perfect, but the thing of it is the intentions are true.
Mhm.
We're passionate about serving the public. If the phone rings, we're going to answer.
Yes.
We may screw it up when we get there. We may
Right.
do it all wrong.
Right.
But our intention is to answer the call, do the best job we can, and serve the public. And
Sure.
so many people have so many, I guess you'd say, ideas about law enforcement, the glamorous side, the upside, the downside. But I think the thing about it is being committed to find devout people that are truly concerned about serving other people and doing
Right.
it the right way.
Right.
And that's what drives us at the sheriff's office. And, we're seeking a fourth term for the office,
Mhm.
and we're interested in doing that. And we have the team in place, and we have a bunch of young guys and girls coming on board that have the same passion to serve as I feel that I have. And
Right.
we just try to bring it to them every day.
That's
Sure.
awesome.
It is, and I was, the role and responsibilities of a sheriff are just tremendous. You have a heavy burden on your shoulders.
Yes, and it's something. It's a calling. I mean, it goes far beyond a salary, far beyond a job. It's about people, and what type of community do you want to live in? How do you envision America? What do you think it means? And I think the bottom line, if people can go to work and we can keep the crime down, and we can relate to people, just like my prisoners at the jail. And I mean, they are there. They have been sentenced. They are there to serve time, and we take that obligation while they're there to try and better themselves.
Right.
The GED program that we have, we have I think we have 23 ministers that that go to the jail. So
That's great.
if you want to find God, or you want to change your life or change your heart, you can do that there. So we take it all seriously. My warden, Stephen Jude, he's passionate about being involved with people and trying to get to the point where when they do go back on the street, they're better than when they came in.
Sure.
And I think that's what it comes down to, is people have to want to do the right thing.
Right. You're right. You have to want to.
Absolutely, yes. And I got to say, you've been doing a great job, and I voted for you. You did a great job, and I'm glad with what we got so far. What I want to talk about also, like when you ran for sheriff, we have this idea of what being a sheriff should be like. But once you got in office, I'm sure things that hit you off from the side. It's like, whoa, I didn't expect this. I mean, what were some challenges for you as a new sheriff?
I think the challenges for me is that coming from the state police discipline, and I remember this day vividly, a man and his wife and his kids came in, and they set up a meeting, and we sat down at the table, and it's like 7, 8 people in there, and this guy just started telling me about what had happened to him and his family, and I was racking and stacking it from the law enforcement side. Well, this is expired. This has been over a year. We can't do anything about this, and I'm just going through all of that. And when he'd finished, it really had me overwhelmed at that point. And I learned through interviewing and interrogating people for years, sometimes the best answer is a good question. So
right.
I flipped it over and I asked him, I said, sir, you came here, you made an appointment, you've told me this story, and I really empathize with what you're telling me, and it's really tragic what happened to you and your family. I said, but you came to see me about it, and what did you expect me to do about this problem for you?
Right.
So I was really,
balls in your court now.
Yeah.
Right.
And he told me, he said, nothing. He said, I know that the time has expired. There's nothing really you can do. He said, I just wanted to share it with you, get it off my chest, and tell the sheriff, and you listen to me, and don't let it happen to someone else. And boy, it took me to a whole nother place, kind of like that producer in New York, He took me to another level. This guy took me to another level of service. When we make a decision, or when you're involved in at this level, at the sheriff's level, you not only impact that person, but everybody around that person.
Right.
Yes.
And when you talk, you should really think about what you're saying before you say it. You can't lash out. You can't get mad. You don't have the luxury in that job. You have to be very diligent and very compassionate when you're dealing with people and their problems, because the world, as you know, has a lot of problems.
Right.
And what we have to do, and what I feel our mission is to bring people off the ledge and say, look, it's going to be all right. You just got to get up tomorrow morning, pick yourself up, and get through the day.
Right.
And try, and things will get better. And that's the challenge I've had. The financial problems, the spending and trying to rein in all the different things, all the different personalities, the personnel,
Right.
over 100 deputies,
Wow.
300 inmates, 20,000 customers, the public that you're trying to work for.
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge undertaking. We're wrecking cars every day. They're chasing. We're fighting with people that don't want to go to jail.
Right.
So it's just a constant, nonstop thing. Could not sit in the seat without the staff that I have. I have some devoted people that surround me and keep me whole and sane.
Yes.
And then at the same time, know your place. Know that your job is restricted by law. Stay within the guidelines and do what you're supposed to do. So it's taxing job that I do every day, and I really enjoy when we get it right and when we impact people in a positive way.
Yes,
Right.
definitely. Anything to add to that, Datha?
Not
Sure.
about that. I was going to ask you about your music.
Oh,
Hold off for just a second, because we're going to do another song in a minute. Then we're going to go to that.
Yeah.
To me, if I put myself in the place of sheriff, which I never would do, never could do, to me, the most important thing that I would have problems with would be the disciplinary problems that come along with being a sheriff, because you have so many good people and they get caught and whatever, and you got to discipline them. Sometimes you got to let them go.
Yep.
To me, that would be just so hard to do.
Yeah.
That is the hardest thing you have to do.
Yeah.
You're exactly correct, because it's a lonely chair. And when you choose to sit in that pinnacle position where you have to be the sheriff, you have to make tough, hard decisions that impact people in their lives. And that is the hardest thing.
I can imagine. Wow.
But you have to do it.
Right.
You see, the tragedy of it is that, you have to do that because it's what the job demands, is what the position demands. The public demands you to be just and fair, but at the same time, you have to hold the line.
Sure, nothing
Right.
personal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's a personal business. It's a good cliche, but
Right.
it gets nasty and personal when you're dealing with people's lives. And we always always err on the side of being compassionate, but at the same time, when their actions take them beyond a certain point, then I can't save them. I have to do my job.
Right.
And
Exactly.
no more than I would do to the public. So it really
Sure.
makes you look at life a whole lot different. I drive a lot slower now. I don't drink as much.
Right.
I'm very careful with what I say. It's made me a better person to have that burden, but at the same time, I realize the gravity of that. And when you're in charge of this, it's a $10 million a year budget. It's 120 deputies.
Wow.
And it's just, you make decisions on a day-to-day basis that only you have authority to make. So
Yeah, would you kind of liken it to being the CEO of a company, or is it different than that?
I think it is, in a way. It's CEO-ish like, but it's not really. Those guys are motivated by a different set of rules. Or
generally finances and profit, generally.
Right. And when I had my company, that's what the bottom line was, is how is this going to affect our bottom line? The difference is being sheriff is, how does this affect children? How does this affect the community? The decisions you make impact people's lives in a real way. So you really have to really think about them. I know I have a lot of sleepless nights, I read a lot because it's kind of therapeutic for me.
Right.
And it puts you in a position where you can realistically deal with everything you're dealing with. But Dwight D. Eisenhower said, always put off a bad decision. And I really understand that, because, all the pressures of you need to move, you can put it off. If you can put it off till the next day, think about it.
Right.
And give yourself time to. So I think that's the biggest thing, is that the personnel issues, dealing with the public, people come in, make a complaint, there's a process for that. And I'm very particular about how we respond to that, how we investigate ourselves, how we work those personnel issues.
Right.
Sure.
And it's
Anything you want to add to that,
important.
Dave? Any comments?
You're right about that, Dave. That is the hardest part.
Right.
For me, it would be.
Right.
Right. And you've been in a company long enough with Acadian to understand all that.
Yes.
And that's really
Yes.
really the guts of it.
And
You understand.
To me, and like you tell your employees, you have policies and procedures, you have standard operating procedures. If you fall within those guidelines, you have nothing to worry about.
Right.
That's right.
Go outside of those guidelines,
Right.
do what we got to do.
And the law is the same way.
Yep.
It's set up on the same premise. People always talk about, oh, America this, America that. You listen to the rhetoric on TV and you hear all of that rhetoric. And we're a country of laws. We were founded on principles and law.
Right.
And those laws are nailed down, and you follow them and you're okay.
Sure.
You step outside of that, you're operating outside the color of the law, and you're going to get in trouble.
Right.
And people need to understand that. That's, compliance, following the law, and being a good citizen.
Sure.
Doing your part to live in the greatest country in the world. Talk to these guys coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan that work with me on a day-to-day, how those people live everything they go through.
Mm.
You know, I think when you realize that this is a great place.
Yes, it
Right,
is.
right.
Absolutely. Just I want to go kind of in general terms right now because I don't want to get specific and everything. But so you know, when you're dealing with life older, how is your successes and your failures? Because we have failures, right?
Sure.
Not to detail anything. So how is that? How have you dealt with the high point? You
Media shows up, you know. It's tough. It's painful. It's tough.
right.
And you get out there and you just tell them, this is what we did, this is what happened, boom, 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 and we're going to make it right. We're going to make it better. I think the key thing to learn from all of this is that when you do, acknowledge it.
Yes.
Right.
Number
Very
2,
important.
come back and make the adjustments to correct it, and don't do it again.
Right.
Most
You know,
important.
and I think that's
That's good personal advice too. Yes.
Yeah.
yes. Try to
Yeah.
just acknowledge it. Hey, yeah, nobody's perfect, you know, and we're not perfect. We're far from perfect. We struggle every day to get it right. You know?
Yes, we do. I feel another song coming on here. So.
Oh, okay. Well, we're intermission. See, I get on this. I wear a bunch of different hats.
Yes, you do.
You know, and you're taking me from my day job, which is so intense. You know, I mean, I come home sometimes at night, and you know, it's just I'm whipped,
Sure.
physically, spiritually, or whatever. And then to watch them fighting on the news or television, it's artificial.
Yes.
So I go and I get my guitar. And,
Yeah.
my wife loves the Lifetime channel.
Huh?
And
There
I
you go.
just can't, I can just take
That's her
so much-
therapy. This
Yeah.
is your therapy.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to send him my kids.
Oh.
And so I work through. I'm not even answering. But so that's the intense side of things. And I'll go and that's where writing music has come out to work for me. And I'm
Right.
also an artist. I love to paint and everything.
Yes, you do.
Me
Yes.
too.
Come on.
Yeah, and so I'm a painter. I have a few things that I've done, but it's the time to studio set up and to do it, paint and everything else. So
Right.
Yeah.
it really didn't work for me. They talk
Right.
pick me up in like a week. Or
And it's
so.
easy to pick a guitar.
Guitar up and you can spin that, and it's therapeutic. Oh, kind of. I would say after things kind of leveled out in the sheriff's office, and I'd been in a band in high school. In fact, your uncle and I, we started, back when we were in high school, 7th, 8th grade,
Yeah.
playing music like these guys here, and we started a little band, and then he tragically died, drowned in Falls River, and
Right.
just a dear friend of mine, and we went and I went into another group, another little band, and we played through high school. So that was fun. And then when I got hired with state police, they didn't have a sense of humor.
No.
They weren't much on you. Being,
Right.
I can't come to work tonight. I got this gig.
Right.
That wasn't going to fly. So I kind of abandoned the music scene for a long time. And then when the sheriff's office kind of leveled out, and my oldest granddaughter would sing as a baby, 3, 4 years old. She just loves music and everything else. So I told my wife, I said, I'm going to pick up the guitar again and start playing again. And she came home one night, and I had a guitar sitting on the front porch.
Oh, I bet she was super excited.
Yeah, I forgot to tell her about it.
Oh, but that's
Oh.
okay. A good
Yeah.
surprise.
So she said, what is a guitar doing on the front porch? And
Oh.
then I explained it to her, and I taught myself how to play in a couple of months, and then started writing, and that's what I really wanted to do. Because a keyboard, you can play that, but it's not really portable. So I wanted to do something that was portable. So
That's interesting that you
Cool.
play. I guess you call it left-handed.
yeah,
You
I'm
play
left-handed. I'm completely left-handed, and back in high school, I was playing the bass guitar right-handed.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't feel I was good at it because it was all backwards and I was jacked up. And then I tried to flip it over, and that was worse.
Yeah, the strings.
Oh.
Yeah, so it didn't work out.
But are you left-handed when you write?
I'm completely left.
My mom is too.
Wow.
Shout
I am
out,
too.
Mom.
I am too. Yeah, that's awesome.
Completely left-handed, and I was never able to overcome that. So when
Yeah.
I got the bug about trying to get back, doing some of this, I found the left-handed guitars.
There you go.
Internet.
There you
Nice.
go.
Yeah.
Gotta love the
ordered one.
internet.
Yes.
Ordered one, and it really fell into it. So,
Right.
This old town looks the same. Since you left, ain't nothing changed. You went and left me for the city, and I'm still stuck right here. What a pity. When I look up at the stars at night, and I think about holding you tight. Every time I think about you, I think about summertime. Oh, when you were mine. Summertime. Oh, when you were mine. Forgot the words. I do that all the time. Let's see.
Well, it must be really good.
My
My son
life's
took his shirt
still the
off.
same routine.
Or hot.
No.
I go to work, then I go to sleep. All my friends call me a fool, 'cause I can't get over you. When I look up at the stars at night, and I think about holding you tight. Every time I think about you, I think about summertime. Oh, when you were mine. Summertime. Oh, when you were mine. Sweet summertime.
I like it.
Awesome.
Very, very good.
You need to get that song for Tim. So, that's another story. I'm saying.
I was just thinking, summertime is so hot. It's
Yeah.
a good song. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
she's
love
hot.
it. I love it. Exactly.
Good
So-
song.
A lot of, I guess you'd say, what, underlying things? there?
Right. Yep. More than one meeting. That's awesome. I love it.
Buddy.
That boy
I
done
love it.
took his shirt off. You should have seen him.
Look at him. He's ripped.
Oh, yeah. Like a 12-pack of beer.
That's living with boys. I got 3 boys.
Yeah, I just need to get one. There you go.
There you go. We got plenty.
There you go.
That's great. I want to go back in time a little bit. So I want to talk about Beauregard Store. So, like I said, y'all seem to be very successful whenever you come out an endeavor, and of course, business relationships. Beauregard's is very successful, and I think it would still be successful today if it was still in operation. Explain what happened.
Well, I think that times have changed. In fact, one of the indicators for me is that the change in retail business today, moving from a brick and mortar store to the internet, has
Yes.
really changed the whole foundation of mercantile in the United
Yes,
States.
we were talking
Right.
about that a while back.
Yeah.
And we started with Beauregard's in 1988.
Wow.
We
I
shop there all the time.
I had
Yep.
saved up
Yeah.
enough money
I did
to
too.
buy a new boat, and I told my wife, I said, you know what, if I buy this boat, it's not going to really do anything for us. Second I get it, it's going to depreciate.
Mm.
Yep.
That's it. We're
Yeah.
going into business. So we went through that research and everything else. And she's a very talented person. Nisa does flower. She did flower. She's artistic also. She says she's not, but she really is.
Right.
And, she had an eye for that and also business. So I said, you know what, we need to give it a shot. So we started Beauregard's, actually called Nisa's when we
Oh, I
yeah,
remember that,
it was
yes.
at, wasn't it?
half the money. And it just took off. And after a couple, moved to New Roads. And then the schools started at that time.
Oh, yeah.
Going from just free dress to school
Right.
uniforms. And we were there in business, so we kind of got on the band.
Yes.
We'll do it, and started chasing that. And
That was
she
good for
really-
business, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she really was the rock that Beauregard's became. And I remember we were in the building on the front, and she said, "Back, we're gonna rent that." And I was like, "Man, are you sure?" And she was serious. She said, "Look, it's gonna work." And we stayed there like 10 or 12 years in the big
Wow.
expanse of what we were at the height of our saga there. But as the internet came online and really started working its way into mainstream America, I can remember Big Brown with UPS is still my UPS guy. And I was telling him, I said, "How much of this stuff is Amazon that you're carrying around?" And he said, "It's 15-20% of what we're doing." And I said, "Brown, I'm telling you, this thing is going to change." And I said, it's gonna take over everything, and it's not going to happen slowly. It's just going to happen.
Right.
And I said, "I'm not going to get caught, and watch everything I work for just get blown away."
Right.
So, and at the same time, we had the granddaughters coming on board. So we had our first little granddaughter, and we still had the business. And then we got expecting for our second little granddaughter. And I told Nisa, I said, "Look, you've got a window to spend with these girls, to be a grandmother and do all those things, make all of the little plays at school, church service, or whatever they're going to be involved in." I said, "You need to take advantage of that." And, we got, we did really good with the store. We were in business 28 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I said, with all of this changing, I said, "Our lease is coming up. We got to renew for 10 more years." I said, "I don't have 10 years in me to do this anymore."
Right. How many employees did you have?
Oh, it was about 5 or 6
5 or 6
ladies, and some of them were with us the whole 28
Yeah, a long time,
years.
I remember.
And, it was just a family business, and we were a family. And so we made a decision to break it up, sell it, and just go ahead and do it. And it was painful. It was emotional.
I bet it was.
It took a couple of years to get over it.
Wow.
And, but it was something I felt I had to do. And a year after we had closed, the store, we got Key Graphics took over the uniform part of the business. Fontaine's picked up the boot part.
Right.
We kind of,
Oh, yeah.
all of my friends and family and the other businesses that were in the community picked up those parts.
Right.
And that worked out pretty good for us. We were able to get out with our hide. We didn't lose any money. So that was a good thing.
Right.
And the other side of that is, I guess, the whole build up to this is I went deer hunting in the winter, and I was coming out from my stand about 6 o'clock in the evening, and my phone rings. And I'm in my little Jeep, and phone rings, so I pull over, and I look, it's Big Brown. He said, "You
Got a
remember
question.
what you told me 3 years ago?" I said, "Yeah, Brown, I remember it." He said, "I'm looking in the back of my truck. It ain't nothing but Amazon."
Wow. Yep.
So, I was right.
Yes, you were.
It's going to be the
and it-
malls too soon. I don't even go shopping anymore. It used to be my
Yes.
number one thing.
Well, it was cultural.
Yeah.
It was
Yes.
the
It
way
was
you did,
easy.
but it's the way you did it.
Yeah.
And now,
Sure.
if you find that exact item that you want, if you go to town, if you go to Baton Rouge, you make the pilgrimage.
Yeah, traffic.
You may or may not find what you're looking for.
Right.
And so today's world is, you go online and you Google it and you look for what you're exactly looking for. And there's about 7-8 vendors across the country or out of the country
Right.
that make that particular item and give you the best price.
Yes.
on it.
And give it a day or two.
We are going to be in serious trouble if the internet goes away.
Yeah, you mentioned that before, didn't you?
Well, I mean, that's all I do shopping on. I mean,
Oh.
I don't even go to Well, I'm in Baton Rouge every day anyway.
Well,
I'm tired of it.
when you get when you get off of work, the last thing you want to do is stay in Baton Rouge.
No, because
True.
usually I'm there for an hour anyway, extra because of traffic.
Right, so you're trying to get home.
Right.
And, I understand that.
Yes.
So that was some of the things, the Beauregard's business. But thanks for asking about
Sure.
that.
Yeah. You had quality stuff over there.
We really did.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
It's, Nisa would shop the market, did a great job, and she
And
really
a good selection, too.
Mhm.
Wow, the
Yeah.
selection.
It
She
was
was
nice.
very particular about how the store looked, how people responded to it,
Right.
price points, and everything else.
Right.
She really was disciplined in that, and
Yes.
I helped and did what I was told, and we looked at it really long and hard,
Sure.
and I think we made a good decision. But things change.
Yes, they do.
It's another one of my things that I really tell people all the time is that with your life, business, and everything changes. The only constant thing in this world is change.
Right.
And if you can't adapt to it, go with it, and just embrace it, you're going to get left
It's going to be a
behind.
hard life.
You're going to get left behind. I have
Right.
friends, man, I'm not on Facebook. I hate it, blah, 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 blah. Well, I have some of my old friends. I keep in touch with them because of Facebook. I would never see them, again or be in contact with them. So,
Right.
with good comes evil.
Right.
It's just
Yes,
the
it does.
duality of man. It's our,
Yes, that's right.
with the yin is a yang. I mean,
Right.
it's,
Right.
hot, it's got to have something cold. So,
Exactly.
you just can't get away from that. But, there are a lot of good things that have happened, and it's made things convenient. But,
Exactly.
times change.
Yeah, well, you had a keen business sense that you saw it coming way before it did, and
Right.
you got out while
Got
you were
out
ahead.
before I got killed.
Right.
Yes, exactly. You
Yeah.
sure did. You sure did. You said you have one more term for sheriff, right?
I'm running one more term, and I think it'll be a wrap for me. It will put me at 44 years as in law enforcement.
That's a long time.
And I've always been in an intense position. Undercover narcotics, you're always on call, drop of a hat. I can remember we had stopped a car that was loaded with drugs and everything else. And we're negotiating with the bad guys, look, you need to do the right thing and blah, blah, blah. And finally they cave in and say, yeah, we'll deliver it. And, I'm out there and my wife's calling me, hey, you coming home for supper? Yeah, I'll be home in a little while. I know.
That would be
I know
so much fun.
I know I'm getting ready
But
to.
stressful.
Stressful, yeah.
I'm getting ready to go to Florida because that's where these guys got it delivered. We call the National Guard. We get an airplane. We load it up. We go to Florida to make the delivery. We arrest everybody, yada, yada. The next day, I'm talking to her. The boys are going to school.
Wow.
And
yeah, what a
I'm saying,
difference.
hey, it didn't work out. We had to make a delivery. I didn't tell her where I was. We're driving back from Florida.
Golly.
So it's just it was a intense job.
Yeah.
And I've been in that line of work for a long time. So I think at 65 and, I have a good staff and some good guys that can step up and, run for sheriff and be
Right.
the guy they need to be.
Right, and you can finally rest and just take it
Well,
easy.
I think there comes a time you have to realize those things.
Yes.
But you a tribute to law enforcement.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely.
This is a subjective
Right.
compliment to law enforcement. I had worked a case where, and I don't even want to get into the case part of it, but this guy made a comment to me that I was working, and it wound up tragic ending on all of this. And I'm not going to bore you with the details. Of course, I'm sure you'd rather hear this than the song.
No.
But one comment he made is about he said he wasn't coming in. We weren't going to be able to take him in, and he was going to have court in the street.
Oh.
Boy, it just
Court in
that
the
little-
street.
I'm gonna have court in the street.
There's
So
something in that.
there's something in that, and I don't want to mention his name because I don't want to give him any credit.
Exactly. More than it's due.
More than he's due.
Right.
You know, like some of these guys get. But this little song came up and it was just think about all these different things, but point of view.
Right.
And I think in every lawman, so you have to have that kind of understanding of it, because you spend the majority of your time talking to bad guys. And,
Right.
you know, it's just. Can't fight the feeling I'm under. Like looking at the lightning, waiting on the thunder. I'm just an outlaw. To old Mexico. Shot a man and stole all ends. I'm running hard. I can to old Mexico. I can't have this feeling. It's like looking at the lightning, waiting on the thunder. I'm just an outlaw on the run. Oh, oh, Mexico. All I see is blue lights up ahead. Know that the cops all want me dead. Guess I just have caught out in the street. Know that I will never ever see. Oh, Mexico. And I can't fight this feeling I'm under. It's like lightning waiting on the thunder. I'm just an outlaw. To old Mexico.
Hey, we need margarita and a pina colada right now.
All right. What would that be?
Shot of tequila. I'm gonna need one before the night's
I
over.
felt like I was there.
I know. Good. I
Oh,
really like that.
That was beautiful.
That's why I'm. You get in there with a producer and everybody else, and the vision of the song. When I'm playing it, it's bigger. I got all kinds of stuff going on, but to get that and capture emotion is what I'm scared to try and do.
Yes, you want to keep it true to form.
I loved it.
All right, so yeah, it's telling me about an hour 15, but I want to do a couple of things before we shut this thing down. So, what a great opportunity to be part of Miss Jessica's little thing.
Well, that was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
That really fun. You know,
Timmy,
Jess-
pull that up real quick. I got some video I want to show as you're talking.
Oh,
so
sure.
pull that video, Timmy, and go ahead. He's gonna show it while we're talking.
good, good.
We can even watch it while you're talking.
that'll be great. Looking forward to it. No, but Jessica is such a interesting person, and she has a very
Look how cute.
very splendid personality, and
Yes.
she's just touched the lives of so many people, and she's very, very personable, and she's so excited. This has been a big deal for
There you
her.
are.
Well, that's good. Well, she had, man, look, this was funny. I went, now my wife, a month ago, I had to get a tuxedo.
Okay.
And
Okay, here.
so she waits like a week before the thing and said, you got to go get a tux. I said,
Oh.
for what? You know, I'm trying to, and I missed something that I was, she said, well, Jessica's birthday party. She wants you in a tux, and she wants you to wear your cowboy hat. I said, okay.
Gotta
So
do it right.
Right.
got my orders, so I'm
How
going to go do
cute.
my
Look,
little
this is
bit.
like a who's who of Livonia people here. I mean, look at the people over here. It was
There were people
incredible.
from all over.
Yes.
I mean,
Politicians,
and to
friends.
understand this little girl, this lady, she's 40 years old, and Jessica has lived her life entrenched in part of the community.
Right.
Just
It
totally amazing. I was glad to be a part of that and to see all of that. And she had a blast.
Right. She sure did. She
Now-
did. That was amazing.
I was talking to her mom. Her mom and I graduated high school.
Oh,
Kathy and I
I didn't know
graduated
that.
high school again. And she, you know, we picked like a year out.
Uh-huh.
No idea. It was Easter weekend. So as
Yes,
it
it
got
was.
closer and they realized what they had done, like, oh no, we really messed up. But I think it was actually better because a lot of folks that were from here that live away were home.
Yes.
They could go to the party. So
That
I
was
think it was
perfect.
really, really great the way it worked out.
Yes.
But
And we got, it was a community of all the people that came together, the caterers, photographers, everybody. See, we're going to give her like the party of her life.
That was amazing. I think that is
Really.
so
I think
cool.
she gave the community the party. Of
All right. She
It
did.
was bigger than Mardi Gras. The King and Queens
Yes.
celebration. It was off the chain.
That's
It
awesome.
was.
And everybody was there. Travis Mott and them played.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
they did a great job.
We did a bigger venue. That venue was packed. It was standing room only.
Oh, well,
Was it live?
Yeah, in Livonia.
Yeah.
he actually said that. Travis said, look, I play a lot of private parties. He said, but this is off the hook.
Yes.
You know, this is
Right.
big.
My party wouldn't be that big. I only know a handful of
What do you,
people.
what do you say?
Right.
Maybe 1,500, I think, in
That's
and outside.
crazy.
That, yeah. Oh, through.
Wow.
Yeah. That's incredible. Wow.
It
Man.
was great to be a part of that.
Well, that was great. And so hats off to you for helping her out. That made the day. Let me
that
tell you.
did.
It
She-
did. So
cute.
twinkle in her
Glad-
eye.
To be a part of it.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
Glad to be, as you were.
Yes.
You did a great job.
Yep, they called me up.
when I-
Kim Miller called me up.
Right, and you did a great job.
Yep,
You know, you
definitely.
did
We're
good.
gonna. I got the boys to go fly some drone footage across, and they got some really cool shots and everything. Cool video for them. So,
That's gonna be
Oh,
awesome.
that's gonna
Yes,
be
indeed.
awesome.
well, that's gonna about wrap it up, Sheriff. Anything else you want to cover before we wrap this thing up?
No, I'd just like to say, Dave, this is certainly the future of communications and the future of entertainment. I think it's going to be more organic. I
Right.
do see a trend. I do see a trend. I see that the younger people want to see what you have to say. And
Yes.
it's not a knock. People like to be entertained when they have a wedding or whatever. They want to hear songs that are familiar to them.
Right.
But I think when you start looking at what people want to hear, they want to hear acoustic, they want to hear live, and they
Uh-huh.
want to hear the song. And I think that we're going to see a trend back to the basics.
Yes.
I was reading an article and they said, you know, if it was a perfect song, you mess up a little bit. I forgot the words of the song I wrote. you
Sure.
know.
Yeah. Just
And
that's part of it.
they want to feel what you're saying. They want to feel what you're. And I
Real.
think to find that emotion, and you know, I get hooked on these songs like "Old Mexico."
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm really on it. It's like the thing I can't put down. You know, George Jones. It was like he stopped loving her today.
Uh-huh.
He didn't write the song, but he performed it, and he hated it the first time he heard it. It was his biggest song,
He is his own worst critic.
But he didn't enjoy it when he played it. And the neat thing about this, if Old Mexico is something I enjoy playing because it has an underlying story to me about a personal experience that was pretty, I guess you'd say, life-changing and very emotional. And to put that into words with something where I know exactly what I mean.
Right.
Yes.
But, and that part about, how it is when you see the lightning and you're waiting on the thunder.
Right.
I mean, I think that's
a good lyric.
Yeah.
It is because that fear
Right.
that comes over you, and when you're in the moment, stuff that I've been involved with, and the shootouts and all that stuff, it's the same feeling.
Right.
It's that same feeling that you get when you see the lightning, instant fear you get, and then
wow,
the thunder, boom.
Yes,
if it's close to you,
Right.
it's almost instantaneous. So
that's awesome.
it's that little feeling that you get is what I've felt before. I felt that in this particular situation.
Yes,
and
yeah. And those are the best kinds of songs, the ones that flow out of you and it means something.
Yeah, I guess that's why you play it at an intense level.
Right.
Sure, exactly.
Put feeling into a lot of heart and soul.
And it's like, doing all those short films and everything. Those stories are born out of real life experiences. Those are the best stories you can tell.
And isn't it tragic when you're trying to capture that scene? You're trying to capture that emotion with it, and it doesn't. No matter what you do, it always falls a little short of what you envisioned.
Yes, right.
And
I know
as
exactly
an artist, that's the thing that kills you.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. And so it's hard. That's one of the reasons why you don't want to record the song right now, because it's like
I'm kind of, I have what it needs to sound like.
Right, and you want to keep it true to the way it should be, for sure.
Yeah, so we're gonna try that this year. We're gonna try and get it down.
Well, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah,
that's a great song.
Well, Datha, anything you want to cover before we leave?
I love the music.
Oh, thank you.
My son Breeze, who said shout out to him.
Yeah.
Loves it too.
Well, thanks.
He's right off camera right here.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. So I'm going to put a plug in for PointeCoupeeReporter.com, and if you'll take us out with some music, we'll just end the show with some music. So we always have to support PointeCoupeeReporter.com.
Pointe Coupee Reporter peeps, check it out.
Yeah, so don't forget to check out Pointe Coupee's online news information hub, PointeCoupeeReporter.com. Features links to area media articles about Pointe Coupee. Dial them up on the web, PointeCoupeeReporter.com.
Yay!
Yeah.
Guess you could call me a cowboy. Some of the things that I've done. 19 years old, I wore a badge and a gun. It's been one hell of a ride. And I've been in some tight jams, but didn't think that I would survive. Well, it ain't no fun looking down the barrel of a gun. I'm just lucky to be alive. Well, I've been broke down and busted, beat up and cussed at, left for dead on the side of the road. Gotta keep on running, gotta keep on gunning down that long and winding road.
Good job. Are we done, Tim?